is it now? Is my mic on? Oh, is it now? Do we have a mic now, Anna? Is it working? Oh, Angela, look at you. Well, today I'm writing thank you notes, and after 7 weddings, you'd think I wouldn't have to do that anymore, but I really think Southern girls should do that, shouldn't they?
Yes, they should.
I think so. Now, I've got to be at Macy's this afternoon, and we've given them 5 hours to get the temperature to 68 because I never appear in public without it being 68. I might sweat.
You're a spoiled brat.
I'm a spoiled brat, and after 7 husbands, could you name my 7 husbands?
I know Larry.
Larry the carpenter. Who is the congressman?
I don't know.
Oh, was he a senator? It was a senator.
That was before my time.
He was from Virginia.
Before my time, darling.
Well, speaking of your time, how long have you been dead?
99 years.
99 years. Well, today, I am an old version of a lady that, when she married her...
You're actually a young version of her.
No, I'm the old version.
She's old now.
When she married her 4th husband for the 2nd time, he was doing an interview and somebody said, has gained weight, and he said, oh yes, but I love every ton of her. You know, he'd have been my divorced husband. But I remember when that article came out in the National Enquirer, she was not a happy lady.
No.
She was not happy, and she said, Richard, you will never. What was the movie they did? The War of the Roses. The War of the Roses. And I think that depicted their life together. Probably. She might have thrown a perfume bottle at him. And today I've been working on a new fragrance. It's called Passion. Now, from the grave, is there passion?
No. We just... we like stinky.
You look like crap.
We like stinky where I come from.
You know your teeth are black. And let me tell you, in order to look like the controlling freak woman I am, I have on these
big eyelashes.
I have on these big eyelashes that are really big, and because I couldn't get quite enough diamonds on my fingers. How many diamonds have men given her?
Oh, not enough.
Not enough.
There's never enough.
That was the correct answer. See, I can tell you're my child, even in that.
Yeah. Well, even dead people have bling bling.
That's right. That's right. And we talked about, I really needed my violet eyes, but the violet eyes made me blurry. And I don't need to be seeing you people blurry. I don't need to be doing that. So
I have eyes.
You do have eyes, and your eyes look like, woo. Now, do they make your eyes a little bit blurry?
Just a little bit when you switch directions. You catch the color.
Oh, well, it is a weird
color. They're very effective.
They are. And when you walk in to pay, you went into a store today to buy a drink.
Yes, they love
me. Did people go, oh my
Well, it's funny. At first they double take, and then they start bringing their kids over to look at this lady. Look, look, look. And then they, you know, oh my God, man, your eyes are freaking me out. Don't look at me, and, you know.
Who was the husband that gave me the largest diamond?
I don't know.
I would think it would have been Richard Burton.
Probably.
Wouldn't you?
Yeah.
I would think so. I think he was the one, you know. He was a Welshman, wasn't he? Yes. Had a very, very, very high temper and a very high tolerance for alcohol.
Yeah, but he lived with you.
I can't believe she said that.
I mean, you know, Elizabeth the tyrant.
Yes, and then when the little Larry Carpenter came along.
Poor little fella, didn't know what he got into.
He did not. But when she married the wonderful gentleman from Virginia, she got to be involved in politics. That was a big mistake because she made a lot of mistakes in politics. She, after 7 husbands, has decided to be single. Sounds good to me. Sounds good to me.
I'm looking for a husband, y'all.
You are. You're dressed.
I'm hoping to find one today. I asked this guy
if you're smart, you won't look far.
I asked this guy in Dunn's this morning. He just kept staring at me. It was so funny. So funny. He's like, man, your eyes are freaking me out. And I said, are you married? He said, no. I said, you think I'll find a groom today? And he said, nope.
Now, what time this
I said,
morning?
now,
What time
I
last night did
try.
you start getting dressed?
I crawled out of the dirt about 4 this morning, dusted it off, and here I am. Every time they put me down, though, they mess my flowers up. I have to dig out and dust off. It's terrible.
Is that a bouquet from one of my previous weddings, baby?
Actually,
Kind of
this is-
looks like
This
it.
is from my last 3. I just recycled.
Now let's talk about my husband's. Nikki Hilton, was that number 1? Number 2, Michael Wilding. Number 3, Michael Todd. And I have children by one of those. Number 4, Eddie Fisher. Now, Debbie Reynolds should have kicked my tail. She should have kicked my tail because Debbie Reynolds was so in love with Eddie Fisher. And here I came.
Home wrecker.
Home wrecker. Home wrecker. I took him and then
And whooped
didn't
him.
want him when I got him. And I sent him away. And I sent
Why
him.
are your teeth so white? We don't like that where I come from.
I don't know.
You can be an outcast.
Yeah. Praise the Lord.
You just look too clean and stuff.
Yeah, well, I'm sorry, but after Eddie came the love of my life, Richard Burton. Now, everybody has the love of their life, and sometimes you can't live with them. I couldn't live with that man.
I've had 4 or 5.
I could. And have you killed them all? Are they all in the dirt, too?
Cooter helps me.
Kill
Her,
'em?
her last one, we keep putting him down, but we had to put him 3 foot deeper last time because dang fool dug out.
And folks will be able to see you tonight at Lionsgate Mortuary, where you will be. Now, let me tell you something. In the daylight, I can stand this. In the dark, I don't even like the dark. And when they said, do you want to dress up for Halloween? Well, certainly I'll dress up as the town hoo-hoo, but I'm not going to do anything bad. I don't even like the dark, guys, and I've never been to Lionsgate Mortuary except in the daylight.
You need to go.
No, I do not.
We
But
will treat you well.
yes, you will. You are raising money for the Empty Stocking Fund. The Empty Stocking Fund. And if you needed a door greeter, I could be the door greeter in the daylight, but I'm not getting in the dark. I can't handle it.
Tori went to Netherworld Haunted House last night.
Uh-huh.
It's even been on the Discovery Channel. It's so huge. You know, it's just a really incredible haunted house. She called me and she was like, oh my God, Mom, I was screaming my head off. I was so scared. She said their effects, they go to the realization of they even have live cockroaches following you.
Oh, no. Oh,
So,
Lord have mercy.
she
Speaking
said-
of cockroaches, look at my
Yeah.
little baby.
Oh no, your little pocketbook dog.
And when I show up at Macy's this afternoon and it's been 68 for 5 degrees, the little dog will have his little pillow to sit on. So life is good. Life
Does
is
your
good.
dog have air conditioning in his carrier?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Are you crazy? With the money I've spent on diamonds and divorces, let's talk about what I paid them
You have
to
to
leave.
pay for them?
A lot of them I'd pay to leave, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. And poor Larry, he you know, he was kind of like my
You should have
bodyguard,
gave him
butler,
condolence
carpenter.
prizes or something.
I gave Larry quite a bit of money to get rid of him, but I was ready.
But
I was
he was
ready.
kind of cute.
Yeah, and at 25 years younger than me, he should have been cute.
Yeah.
He should have been cute. Well, right now we're going to take a break and we're going to go to the community calendar because this weekend there is so much going on. First of all, it is Halloween. Stay safe. Come out to
Trick or
McKaysville. We will
treat.
be at Trevor's 2 handing out candy next door to the Nifty 50. It will be, the weather's perfect. Absolutely perfect. And tomorrow night the time changes.
Except for
they've
my
made
little
it
thing on my mirror said ice.
ice. Yes.
And I was
yeah.
like, yeah.
Now, where you go, it's well insulated, though. Do you crawl back in that coffin every night?
If they make me,
Okay.
I would prefer to roam around at night.
Ooh, I'd prefer you didn't.
I love the dark. I like to go out and visit people.
Well, right now we're going to take a visit to the community calendar. Hang around, guys. We'll be right back. Thank you. Today, Anna is in the control room. And for you guys who are just tuning in, I look a little bit like a hussy today. Well, today is Halloween. And today, I decided, as dramatic as I'm going to get, is I'm going to pretend to be an old Elizabeth Taylor.
You're not
Now,
that old.
I'm old. She's older than me.
Old.
You're old. You're old. Angela's dead. I'm an old Elizabeth Taylor. And joining us is a young Jennifer Poole, who is... you are always behind the scenes, and you are in, right now, one of the biggest jobs you've ever done. You're doing the spelling bee.
Mm-hmm.
And you and I talked about this a little bit. You won a spelling bee in school, and I did too.
Yeah, in 7th grade.
I love spelling. I
Right.
love spelling, and sometimes I look up and go, oops, typo.
Right.
You got to get it right. And how much have you been involved from start to finish on the spelling bee that's going to happen when, next week?
It's actually happening not this Saturday, but next Saturday, November the 8th. So, but yeah, I've been involved from the very beginning. Me and Lisa Waddell, and then Candace Gibson also. So from the very beginning, they came to us and was like, "Hey, we want to do a spelling bee." So
It's a great idea.
yeah, it is a good idea because it really helps to spotlight the kids who may not usually be, you know, on TV, or those who sometimes don't get a chance to shine elsewhere. You know, I think it provides that opportunity. So,
Well, we talked about this last night. You and I have something in common. I used to have several dogs, several more than you have. You have
Right.
4.
All right.
And I have just now gotten back into the dog routine. And you know this, I got so attached to my animals.
Yeah.
Now, when you do the stories on Pet of the Week, do you get attached to those animals?
yeah. I mean, I know it seems amazing that in the 30 minutes that I'm there, but every time it's like, they're such a good dog, you know? And I think that a lot of times that you know, people might take home a dog or, you know, or a cat, either one, and they're difficult to take care of, but every animal can, or every dog at least, can benefit from training, but usually I think it's the owner that needs to be trained.
Exactly.
And I mean just that they need to understand animals and the way that they are, because I mean they do need love and attention, you know, and they do need consistency, just like with kids, you know, like they are going to be creatures of habit.
And see, there you go,
Yeah.
Dosey. The days I'm gone late, she's mad. She is mad, and she will tear up stuff. And I'm like, I'm sorry I'm late tonight, you know, and it's kind of like you go home and you're like, oh, the dog's going to punish me. And sure enough, she has torn up a basket or eaten something that she shouldn't have,
Yeah.
or jerked something out of the garage, you know, just, it is funny, but they do have these personalities, and they depend on you.
Yeah.
Well, they're pack animals, and they want to be with the family.
Right.
You know.
Yeah, I've been told before, because I've, you know, with my Pet of the Week, I've met a lot of these rescue groups and people there, and so I've learned a whole lot. And they say that dogs, they are pack animals. So now the thing is, either they learn to be with the human pack, or they learn to be with the dog pack. And so, like, if you have a dog that, you know, is kind of wild and, you know, maybe they were a stray for a while, it's going to be a little more difficult to get them to get used to humans and, you know, be socialized that way. Because, you know, we rescued several dogs. And
Several. You've
yeah.
got 4.
Well, actually, I have 3 dogs and 2 cats.
Okay.
But I've rescued my brother's dog, you know, that's with him right now. And people, they just...
Well, I brought my
Yeah.
little Fifi because I thought you might enjoy seeing her. She goes everywhere I go. She even has a special seat on the plane. You know, some people go to the extreme with their animals. This one being...
I don't know what she's talking about. My
Angela-
dog speaks perfect English, and
Angela
Charlene will can testify to that.
Right.
Angela thinks that Mystic is my grandchild, you know.
He is your
And when
granddog.
I come in the morning, she'll say, "Did you speak to your grandchild?" And I'm like, "No, I did not talk to that dog."
It hurts her feelings.
They
She
are
will
part of
hug
the
you if
family.
you say, "Give me a hug." She'll come and she'll put her arms around you. She'll hug you. But you're right as far as the human pack and the dog pack, and then once you bring them in the house, they have to learn you're the boss of the pack
Right.
because. Well, we didn't learn that at my house. Mystic's the boss. But anyway,
Yeah.
I'm telling you what not to do.
Right.
That's right. Now, you rescued Mystic when she was, what, 6 weeks old?
She was 2.5 months.
Okay, okay. So she
Yeah.
was down to the border where sometimes they don't keep them much longer than
Right.
that.
Yeah.
Now, how important is it when you do this, do you choose somebody weekly or do they call you? How does that work?
Basically, when we started doing Pet of the Week, I kind of contacted all the rescue groups and even animal control facilities in our area to see if they wanted to participate. So we've had Pickens Animal Rescue, Gilmer County Animal Control, Homeward Bound, Fannin Animal Control, and Gateway Pet Rescue. I don't think I'm leaving anybody out there, but.
And Homeward Bound is one you really love, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I love them all. They do, you know, they're all just so committed, you know, to what they're doing. And even though, you know, I've rescued, you know, 5 animals, I just feel like I couldn't do what they do because, I mean, they're there every, you know, every day or at least every week. And I would be so attached to the animals, and I just couldn't do it.
I would too. I'd be crying all the time.
And I fostered 2 dogs, and I ended up adopting them. So I said, I told them, I'm like, no more fostering because I can't.
Look at now, are those some of your animals?
Yeah, actually, that's Jack, who we've had the longest, and Sassy. Both were rescues. Jack was running around in the road in Hiawassee, and when my husband found him playing in the road.
Oh, wow.
And he picked him up, because this is what my husband does, and he took him around, tried to find his home, which he did. He found the owners. And the owners, like I said, lived in Hiawassee, and they said, well, we moved from the country where he could run and play to the city, in town. And they said, we can't afford a fence. And they said, we don't have the heart to put him in a crate, because they didn't crate train him when he was a puppy, so it's very difficult to do when they're older. They hate it.
They do.
But when they're puppies, it's just like, oh, it's my bedroom, and they go right in. But yeah, so Travis talked to her, and she was very upset, the owner, but she was crying and said, I can't take care of him anymore. It's not fair. It's not fair to him. So Travis brought him home. There he is in his little bomber jacket.
Oh, how cute. That is precious.
Animals need clothes too. I'm a full believer in
Mystic
that.
has a wardrobe, let me tell you, trust me.
He just has a couple of things. I don't put him in them every day, but sometimes it's fun.
How
So.
sweet.
And you know, he's just a little mutt. And there's him with our 2 kittens. They were also rescues, but we didn't pick them up off the road. We got them from like an adoption thing that was going on. So they're brothers. Sammy's the black one, and Cody's the blondish light colored one. So.
Okay, so you're newlywed and you start with 5 children.
Yeah.
Now, because you both love animals, it worked. What if he hadn't and you do?
I've been in that situation.
That was tough, wasn't it? Yeah.
We probably wouldn't have as many animals. I mean, we'd have animals, but not as many. Because honestly, my husband brought home 2 of those dogs without, you know, asking me. He just brought them home. And then one.
Knowing you'd fall in love with them.
Exactly. That's his plan always. So one, we were actually together. We didn't see his picture up there, or we might have, but I didn't see it. Jesse, he's like a little beagle. And we found him in the stumbling across the road, really, and he was bleeding. He had like a gaping neck wound. And yeah, so we had to take him to the vet and blah, blah, blah. We fostered him for 5 weeks till he was healed. So that was a mutual, you know, decision or whatever. And then the cats was a mutual decision. But yeah, I mean, we probably wouldn't have as many if he wasn't an animal lover, but he and I both are just suckers.
That's really good though, because
Yeah.
my last dead husband, he really, you know, pulled me over. He said he loved animals, and I had a cat and a dog at the time we were dating.
Right.
We got married, and then I found out different. And
He really did.
He
And
made her
he
get
really
rid of a
didn't.
cat she'd had almost 20 years.
Oh my
yeah,
goodness.
so, you know, you're
don't
lucky
know.
that you have
Yeah.
a guy that
And
Yeah.
animals are part of your family.
Absolutely.
They are, and he was like, just get rid of it. And I'm like,
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
you can go, bye.
Yeah.
I think that comes across when you do your packages, because you can tell, you know, you're sitting there holding the animals, you're not, oh, don't touch me, you know.
And pet, no,
And
yeah.
I'm allergic to dogs, cats, the lynx that was on here the other day, I sneezed. I'm allergic to all of them. But I love little Dosey, and I told you I want you to meet Dosey because she's a little bit spoiled now. But I took her to Copper Basin and had her fixed. Now, how important is that? And what can you say to people to get that taken care of?
Well, it's super important, first of all, because here, you know, in Georgia, in the southeast, and especially in our area, North Georgia, we have just a crazy stray population. I mean, it is just out of control.
It's like there's not enough caretakers.
And, oh, absolutely not. No. And if if you can just do your little part. I mean, I don't even know what the numbers are, but a cat who has not been spayed, I really can't come up with the number, but
I have heard it before, and
it's like
thousands.
hundreds. Yeah, yeah. I mean,
It's a lot.
in a matter of a few years.
Right.
Its litters and its litters, and I mean, it's crazy how many. I'm thinking it's like 70,000. I mean, it's a huge number
Yeah, it
within
is.
just a few generations of kittens having
Right.
litters.
Yeah.
And dogs too, but it's crazy. And what's so funny is here, we don't. You want an animal, you can find one. It is no big deal. But a lot of these rescue groups, what they'll do is they'll actually take truckloads of dogs to other states, to New Jersey being one of them, where they have such strict laws and regulations on animals. Every animal has to be registered when they're born, basically. They all have to be spayed or neutered unless you're a breeder. They have to be every year, re-registered, get their rabies shots. I mean, it's all very strict.
That's
and
good, though.
Absolutely. They have no stray population. And so we haul dogs to them. And literally one of the ladies, she works with Second Chance. They're another one that I've worked with some, but Second Chance Animal Sanctuary, I think. Anyway, she takes dogs every couple of weeks up to New Jersey. I mean, just 40 dogs at a time. And, she tries to get them out of animal control a lot before they have to be euthanized.
I hate that.
Yeah, and then she gets some from the rescue groups, but she takes them up there. And she said she has pulled up before. I mean, this sounds crazy, but she has pulled up before to the PetSmart there to drop off the dogs. And the people were clapping and like waiting for the truck to pull up so that they could adopt their dogs. So it's amazing. And so I guess my point being with the New Jersey situation is it can work. You just have to have strict laws and then enforcement about that.
There needs to be more accountability, because I've known people that have gotten an animal and decided they didn't want it, and they just haul it off.
Or drop it off.
That's cruel as everything. I mean, the animal is going to starve unless it can find food, and then it's not going to be nourished. I mean, then
it's going to
disease
suffer and be possibly, more violent, or because it
Or end
Food
up maybe
aggressive?
being attacked by a rabid raccoon, because there are a lot of those
Exactly.
around now. So, well, one of the dogs that we rescued, remember Grant, the little one that sat so funny, he was so cute. We rescued him from a shelter. He had a chip in him, and that was a way to identify him. Is that a good idea?
yeah, it is. It is a good idea.
Mystic has a chip.
Yeah, the microchip, it's something they insert right into the back of their necks, and a lot of people don't know about it. When we picked up those two dogs off the road, we ended up taking them to the vet and seeing if they had a microchip. Because if they had a microchip, we would have known who their owners were previously, just like that. We could have called them, we found your animal. We did do that. We tried to find their owners. We put them in the newspaper. Tried to, maybe someone is missing this animal. This animal that they love and is part of their family. But in this, that wasn't the case. But that's the deal with a microchip. If someone finds the dog, takes it to a vet or an animal control facility to get it scanned for the microchip, then they can get every bit of your information and find the owners just like that.
Now let's go back to, you've been here 3.5 years. You are truly behind the scenes because you choose to be. I think people would love to see you live. You're doing a great job.
Thanks.
You have not been a fan of being live.
No.
And I think, to me, it's easier. I would rather sit down here and do 2 hours than to tape something for 30 minutes.
Right.
But once you get familiar and comfortable with it, you'll do a great job.
Yeah.
Now, I'm going to bring Dosey in one day.
Okay.
And you will love her. And we will just have you come and sit down and you talk to Dosey.
Okay.
She is a little bit spoiled.
If you get to bring Dosey, I get to bring Mystic.
Here we go. Here we go. You do love animals, and you love that part of your job. Your other part of your job is behind the scenes, and it is the part that people don't see. Putting packages together, working on the spelling bee, shooting. You've always been involved in filming.
Right.
And where do you see your future going in ETC?
Oh boy, that's hard. I really, everybody here is just like a jack of all trades, I mean, I came in doing sports reporting. I moved into the news reporting, which, is not live, it's taped. So moved into the news reporting. And then since then, I've picked up several other projects like the Spelling Bee. Another show that we have called Behind the Scenes that's airing right now, and it focuses on each department of ETC. And, there's a couple other projects here and there. But, gosh, in the future, there's just so many things, because we could have, new shows coming out that I may be involved in. I do really enjoy doing the news, though, because I just, I guess you could look at it and say, well, we just talk about community stuff and, let people know what's going on. But I truly view it as a video history of our area, because there's so many things. It's like music and, food and just different things that can be lost over the years. And working with GAHA and seeing some of their stuff in their museum from the past, their displays from the past, I just realized like how easily that stuff can be lost. And, someone needs to save it, write it down, take pictures, video, whatever it takes. But I see it as a video history of our area.
And one of the things you love, you're an excellent writer. You love to write.
Thanks.
You love to write.
Yeah.
And what a great way. Maybe someday you can do a documentary about the lives you've seen saved with the animals. That would be a great 30-minute show for you to do, because it would really show where you started, where you came from, and maybe you can be the person who makes it a controlled animal environment here. That'd be awesome.
Absolutely. I've had people call and request, we would like to see more animal shows, or different types of events.
Well, Dosie can be your star because she's so good. Well, right now we have a star who is over to my right. I'm afraid to look. Holy cow, yes he did.
I love it.
Oh my goodness.
This day is so fun, y'all.
From old Elizabeth Taylor to a very different Hannah Baker Towns. Let's see what's up with Hannah Baker Towns today.
Hello, I'm Hannah Towns filling in for a humiliated Chad Crow, and happy Halloween. Today is Friday, and so that means it's time for your weekend review. Now, as the kids gear up to hit the town tonight for some fun, let's take a glance back at last week when the fun went to the dogs.
In wide wonder at the joy they had found. The head nurse spoke up, said, leave this one alone. She could tell right away that I was bad to the bone. Bad to the bone. Bad to the bone. Bad. 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 Bad to the bone. I broke 1,000 hearts before I met you. I'll break 1,000 more, baby, before I am through. I wanna be yours, pretty baby, yours and yours alone. I'm woman beg, and I make a good woman steal. I make an old woman blush, and I make a young girl squeal. I wanna be yours, pretty baby, yours and yours alone. I'm here to tell you, honey, that I'm bad to the bone. Bad. 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 Bad to the bone.
All right, now that the dog has had its day, it's time for the kids to take to the streets asking that age-old question, trick or treat. But before you let your little goblin go around asking for candy, you might want to pay attention to these tips that Bree gave us on this week's Today's Parent.
Everyone wants to have a safe and happy Halloween for themselves, their guests, and their children. Using safety tips and common sense can help make the most of your Halloween. Keep in mind that your child should be easily seen when going trick-or-treating. A good idea might be to carry a flashlight or a glowing device. Costumes should be short enough to prevent children from tripping and falling. And make sure your children have comfortable, safe shoes as well. Apply a natural mask of cosmetics rather than having a child wear a loose-fitting mask that might restrict breathing or obscure their vision. If a mask is used, however, make sure it fits securely and that the eye holes are large enough to allow full vision. Swords, knives, and similar costume accessories should be of soft and flexible material. It is important to also choose well-lit and welcoming neighborhoods and houses, making sure to only visit homes where the residents are known and have outside lights on as a sign of welcome. I got more safety tips from the resource officer at Gilmer Middle School.
Kids need to look out for, different stuff in their bag and what they're getting, but mainly parents need to go through and search what they've got, see what kind of candies they have, and go through the candy and make sure none of them's been opened. The kids know if they're in the middle school, they should never be left alone. They always should be supervised by at least 4 or 5 of them, maybe one parent or 2 parents. But I don't think, it's my opinion, I don't think the middle school kids ought to be out on their own. During the week, I know, and on Friday nights, that it's a 12 o'clock curfew for anybody under the age of 18. They will be stopped and possibly ticketed and points sent into the state to keeping the vehicle.
For those of you who are expecting trick-or-treaters, you should remove anything that could be an obstacle away from lawns, steps, and porches. Candlelit jack-o'-lanterns should be kept away from landings and doorsteps where costumes could brush against the flame. If parents will follow these safety precautions and make sure your children are well supervised, it will make for a very safe and happy Halloween. Reporting for Today's Parent, I'm Bree Tankersley.
Thank you, Bree. Now coming up next hour, I will have some more tips on how to stay safe tonight. Now, here's a word from our sponsor.
Jack, if you're just tuning in, I look like the town hussy today because I happen to have 7 husbands under my belt. I design perfume, and I'll be at Macy's this afternoon where they've kept it 68 degrees, and my little Fifi will be there with me. And my last husband's name was what? Larry, the carpenter Larry. And if you can remember who I might be, you might win a copy of In the Garden. So think about it. And I'd love for folks to know 3 of my 7 husbands. That would be cool. Mm-hmm. Jenny, the spelling bee is so, so important to you. Now, it's going to happen next Saturday at the Fannin County
Performing Arts Center,
Okay.
That's right.
Lots of seats.
Yes, absolutely. We decided to hold it there so that we would have plenty of room for people. We felt like, parents, grandparents, teachers, faculty, principals, just everyone that could possibly come should come and cheer on their students who are going to be up there. There's probably going to be, I haven't counted it exactly, but around 60 students who are going to be participating, and they have been pulled from public and private schools across our area. So starting in Ball Ground all the way up to Copper Basin.
What age group?
It's 5th grade, just 5th grade.
Are you smarter than a 5th grader?
Yeah.
No. I wonder if some of the words will stump you because you're a great
I
speller.
think it would, yeah. Looking at it, I think so.
How do they study for that?
Well, they
I mean,
study.
how would you know? There's so many words.
Well, like for the Scripps National Spelling Bee, they put out word lists every year that they pull their words from. So now there's 500 words on that list. So in a way, it's kind of like, well, there's still a lot to study. But so you have a word list, that they study, but a lot of times, aside from just learning spelling, I mean, they have to learn about languages, because, different languages spell certain letter combination or they say it in different ways. And so that's why, they always, well, what's the language of origin for that?
See, I never understand that. Why is that?
Well, because, if they know French is the language of origin, then, there are certain vowels that, the French language puts together that English never would.
Okay.
Like EOU or, just those words. I can't think of any off the top of my head right now, but like Bordeaux, I guess, there's a EAU X,
Right.
So.
And the X is silent, it isn't needed in the least.
Right, and so, that helps them. So aside from just like memorizing the spelling, I think it really helps for them to have that kind of knowledge also, and, so, I mean, there's definitely a lot of studying that goes into it. And what I did, because like you said, we had won our school spelling bees in 7th grade, but that was nothing compared to what they do on the national level, and even, what we'll be doing at our spelling bee. Because, we've used, our word list is on par with, what's used with the Scripps National Spelling Bee usually. So, but the thing about it, that national spelling bee, it goes from 4th to 8th grade. I mean, so 4th graders are participating against 8th graders, and that's amazing to me. I'm just like, I don't know how that works. But so with ours, we wanted to just do one grade level, 5th grade.
What will they win?
Oh yeah, that's a good one. The students, there will be first place and second place winners. First place will be winning a $1,000 savings bond for themselves.
Wow.
Second place will be winning a $500 savings bond for themselves. Every student that's there will have a t-shirt and will have a medal just for participating. And we wanted to make sure to do that because every student that's already gotten there has already been in their own like school competitions and spell downs, and so to us, they're already winners, and they're already, have proved that they're good at what they do. So everybody will walk away with something.
That's good.
The other thing that the first place winner will receive is $1,500 for their school.
That's
to
great.
spend on, whatever their current fundraising project
They
is.
could actually buy a computer with that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, well, that is amazing.
Each school, right up front, each school has received a $500 donation from the Harrison Foundation at ETC, just for participating, just for sending people. And then, again, like I said, the $1,500 will go to the winning school. And everybody, has their different reasons, the school, the different things that they would use their money for, but a lot of them is, their media center, literacy materials, which would, I was going to say new books, but that's the same thing. Technology, new computers for the classrooms, something called smart boards, which I'd never heard of before, but it's really amazing. It's kind of like a projector system, but it's interactive, so it projects it up on the screen like from a computer, but then by touching the screen, they can kind of navigate to different areas. I know, it's crazy.
Welcome
I've never
to today's
seen it.
technology.
Yeah, I'm like, we didn't have that kind of stuff while I was in school. So.
Now, people should get there early Saturday, right?
Yeah,
Because
absolutely.
even with lots of seating, you want to get a seat up close so you can hear the kids and see the kids and take some good pictures. It will be later shown on ETC.
We'll be airing it again, I'm very sure.
Okay.
I don't know dates or anything like that.
Okay.
Part of it is we're going to have to see how long it runs, because we've designated a 2-hour time spot from 2 to 4 where it's going to be airing live on Channel 3.
Okay.
So anybody that's at home that's not going to be there, we encourage you to be there. But if they're not going to be, they can catch it live on Channel 3. They can, and if they're outside of our area, which a lot of kids like at the private schools, we have where Mountain Area Christian Academy is participating, and they're in Morganton, and some of those people are in our viewing area, but a lot of them are in Blairsville. Their parents are in Blairsville, so they don't have
Streaming video.
Yeah, and so we have streaming video, so they can just log on to northgeorgianow.com and watch it. But hopefully their parents and people will be there. But other ones in their community that might want to watch can always log on and watch them in that way. So.
Well, it'll be a great day for the community, and I know you've worked hard to do this. And
How many kids per school go?
It's four kids per school, which, like I said, adds up to about 60 or somewhere in that range.
Wow.
So.
Well, I look forward to the outcome of this. I can't
Yeah.
wait to see what the word is who stumps the kid.
Yeah.
Because you always, when you've been involved in this and you look back and say, why didn't I know that word?
I know.
Yeah,
I
it'll be
know.
neat. Well, thank you for
yeah.
being here today.
You're welcome.
Is there anything else you want to talk about?
I think that's pretty much it.
Okay. We know you love the animals. We know you're very involved in this, and behind the scenes has been a lot of fun for you.
Yeah.
And you are behind the scenes usually, but today you have made it on live
Yeah.
TV. No goofs, no blurbs. You didn't have to edit a thing.
No.
See, this has
And
been
you
a
know
great
she's
day.
special because God loves people who love animals.
That's
Yeah.
right. That's right. Well, right now we're going to take a break and we're going to go to the weather. And today's weather is brought to you by Spivey's Body Shop for Major Frame Repairs. When you jumped out of the casket, you might have done some damage. You may need some frame repair. Call the nice folks at Spivey's Body Shop located at 143 Sailors Drive in LJ. Let's go to the weather. And when we come back, we're going to meet two ladies who are, they're not purple ladies like me. They're pink ladies. Hang on, guys. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Now, for you folks who are just tuning in, today is Halloween, and I've decided to become an old version of a lady that I really, really admired. And I admired her because she was pretty versatile. She started out as a young actress at 13, and I'm a little bit versatile. I might wear 3 hats today, unlike you, who are wearing one veil. And these ladies are wearing different hats because they volunteer for the Pink Ladies. Now tell me how you got involved in what you're doing. I know you have laryngitis.
Yes.
So we're going to let you talk, but limited, because I know that your throat's driving you crazy. Now tell me what you've done this week that was so special.
We went to Savannah to the State Council on Auxiliaries and Volunteers of the Georgia Hospital Association.
Okay. And was that an honor? Were so many people chosen?
No, we all belong as hospitals to the State Council,
Okay.
which is under the Hospital Association. And they are We had 91 hospitals involved in that. We had 521 members at the State Council.
Wow.
And it's an educational council because we have vendors there for gift shop shows, and we also have workshops. And we had as our speaker, our keynote speaker this year, we were honored to have Dr. Leo Frangipani.
Oh, we love Dr. Frank.
And so did the audience.
We love him. He is so amazing.
Yes.
Such a positive man.
Uh-huh.
Now, one of the things we love about what y'all do, we love showing up the day you have the $5 jewelry sale.
And we've got one coming up.
I know you do.
When?
When is it? When
It is going to be Wednesday.
Next
Next
Wednesday.
Wednesday. Be the 5th.
really?
Mhm.
Well, I'm going to tell you something. I have been standing in line with people various times and say, that is such a beautiful bracelet. Where did you get it? Well, I got it at the $5 jewelry show at the hospital.
Yes.
Y'all make a lot of money doing things that everybody can afford, because everybody can afford $5. And
They make great Christmas presents.
oh,
and
it's amazing.
every time I wear a piece that I get from there, I get the most compliments. And I'm like, go to the hospital.
They're very different.
Yeah.
And they do make nice Christmas presents,
wonderful.
particularly at this time of the year because Christmas is coming up. And it's good gifts for teachers and for different.
Oh, yeah. We shouldn't tell teachers we're only spending $5 on them. Teachers, we're going to buy you 4 items. We're going to buy you 4 items. That's $20.
But I mean, I wear that stuff. I love it.
It is beautiful.
Yeah.
Now,
Well, if you want something more for the teacher, the 1st of December and the 2nd, which is Monday and Tuesday, we're having the book sale. And she carries books, but she also carries a lot of gifts that do make good Christmas gifts.
well, let me ask you something. When a bunch of pink ladies show up to look at vendors who have things for sale, who is the deciding factor on what you're going to purchase and what you're going to sell in your $5 sale?
Our gift shop chairman is
Okay.
Phyllis Burke, and she is the one that goes to the vendor shows and decides what would sell in the shop, what would be good. She knows the people and the personnel that come through there. She's had some idea of what would be good to sell.
Okay. Now, when you do this, every dime of that goes back into, y'all are all volunteers.
We're all volunteers.
And the hospital doesn't charge you rent? No. So basically, you are providing a service for the hospital.
Yes.
And to the community by being there. Now, who decides what hours you're open? Do you close about 7 in the evening?
The gift shop opens at 9 and closes at 5.
At 5, okay. And you used to do sandwiches and snacks. You don't do that anymore,
Don't
you?
do that anymore. The regulations now require that we not do that.
Right. So people could pick up a magazine, a book, possibly jewelry when you have jewelry sales.
We
What else
don't
is in
sell
there?
magazines. We do sell some books in the gift
Okay.
shop, but we don't sell the magazines. We'd love to have more space in our gift
Okay.
shop, but we're limited for space. And
I think one of the nice things that you ladies do is bring the basket around to the rooms with the waters and the snacks. That's such a nice thing because a lot of times people can't leave their loved one or they're afraid to or whatever. And I see you in there and that's just wonderful
we
service.
do that. And we now have an area called surgical waiting area, and that is staffed by a volunteer. She's out there. She starts about 7:30 or 8 in the morning, sometimes earlier, and she is there to be as a liaison between the people in the lobby waiting for a patient who is in the back, goes back, passes word along. They will call from the back and ask the patient to be, the parents or the family members of the patient to meet in a room to talk to the doctor. Surgery has been finished. He wants to talk to them. But it's a way for them to always know what's going on.
And it kind of calms their fears because there's somebody they feel comfortable talking to.
And they do have someone to talk to. And we have people working in that area who have lived in this area all their lives. So they can carry on long-winded conversations because they know each other. It's
Right.
not unusual to have somebody in there that you know.
Now, you said you'd been volunteering 30 years. How many years have you been volunteering?
3.
3. And how did you get involved?
A good friend and neighbor said, I think you would enjoy this, and it's a chance to give back. And she's right, I do enjoy it because I like people, and I like to smile. So there we go.
And you know, everybody remembers the Pink Ladies in a positive light. You always remember that. I remember when I snuck you into the hospital at Georgia Baptist, actually 2 Pink Ladies tried to stop me, and I had you in a cardboard box. She was 4 days old. And we had her in the elevator, and the Pink Lady said, "What you got in that box?" "Nothing."
And people wonder what happened to me.
But the Pink Ladies are a positive force. Now, how can folks get involved? What do they need to do to help you? Do you need volunteers?
Oh, we always need volunteers. And I will make a correction for you. We are now auxilians.
Okay.
Because the men in the red jackets,
That's right.
they had an aversion to Pink Ladies.
Yeah. Well, real men wear pink shirts, so you can just put them in a pink shirt.
But
So you don't have like a limit of how many volunteers you have? You just welcome as many people
we
that
welcome,
can do it?
we're just really have 4 main areas to work in, but there's always filing, different things to do. As you know, Regina Camp is our DVS, and she wears about 8 hats, and so
Yes, she
she
does.
gets a little bit behind, and she needs somebody in there to help her address things, file things for her. So we always welcome volunteers. They fill out an application, and a background check is done, and then we present that to the board, the auxiliary board, for approval. They attend an orientation, rather, and then they take training to work in the area that they've chosen, and we always need people.
And how important is it to give back? I mean, do you do it because you love people and you love giving back?
I give back. I've been doing it for 30 years. So my mother said, "You're not getting paid," and I said, "Oh, but I am."
Oh, yes, absolutely, absolutely. And the smiles and maybe comforting a child. I know last year y'all had a sale. Did it have to do with handcrafted items?
No.
There was a sale at the hospital last year. Maybe it was the employees.
I think the employees
yeah,
do
the
that.
employees had a sale. And I remember seeing baby blankets and things like that. They're just such a variety. And that's one of the things. Our local hospital is great with involving the community. And that's a great way. Now, the guys, do the men who volunteer, do they drive the golf cart around?
They drive the golf cart, which takes people to and from
I've
hospital
seen some of
in the
those guys
parking
out there
lot.
driving like they're on the Indianapolis 500. I'm just kidding.
That's a really nice service.
Oh, it
Such a
is.
great
Yes,
thing,
it is.
especially
Yeah.
on rainy days.
On a rainy day, and then we have a lot of outpatient or lab work or different things they come to, and they drive themselves there, but you will see them on crutches. They're going in to have some testing done, or an arm and a sling. And when you're coming from that parking lot, it's quite a distance if
It
you're going
is.
uphill on
It
crutches.
is.
So
I think that's one of the things that Piedmont was astounded by, the amount of people who came there immediately. So it grew so fast. They weren't prepared, you know, and now people have to park a long way away because there are a lot more folks than there are parking spaces, a lot of people. And I think it was kind of overwhelming to them, but the golf cart is a great idea. That's a good plan. Now, were y'all involved in purchasing the golf cart?
yes,
And all the money you raise, you put right back into something for the hospital?
goes right back in for the hospital, and we're getting ready to have one of our large fundraisers, which is the Love Light sale for the Christmas tree.
I've done that for years. I've done that for years.
Haven't you, was there something you purchased for the maternity ward or something?
We purchased the cribs,
Yeah, that's right.
bassinets for the maternity department.
What are some of the other things y'all have done with your funds?
We have purchased chairs that go in the patients' rooms. They often have more than 1 or 2 guests, and they needed more chairs, so you didn't have to go out and look for folding chairs. They're a very nice chair. The people that visit don't find themselves standing.
Are you amazed at what y'all have been able to do?
Oh, yes. In fact, how many mannequins did we buy? For
We
the
bought
CPR?
8. For this. Go ahead.
And those, well, they're offering a course for some of us. And I'm going to get my training at my age on CPR because I'm a grandmother, and I thought that was something that they use them quite frequently in a TV, VCR, DVD player for education purposes. So I get real enthusiastic when we start thinking, you know, the little bit I do spreads and spreads and spreads. And when you put all the volunteers work together,
Right.
we can do big things.
Right, right. Well, I'm amazed at what has happened around us because it takes volunteers making it happen. We know that. Every fundraiser we go to, people just show up. And you're amazed at how this community comes together. Now, do we have a phone number you could give so people can get involved?
I knew you were going to ask that, and no, I don't.
Well, I will give them the number to the hospital.
Okay.
Which is 706-253-2441.
Yes.
So if you have questions, ask for somebody involving the Pink Ladies and maybe even Regina, and she'll kill me for that.
Auxiliarians.
Yeah, auxiliarians, sorry. I still like Pink Ladies. They're just, you can tell sitting here in purple dressed up like the town ho-ho that I
Why are there no more
Love pink.
candy strippers?
We have
Was there
to
no
have-
involvement?
We, in the larger hospitals, they do have the candy stripers, or the volunteers, as they're known now. But we have to have areas to put them. And we're starting small at Piedmont Mountainside. I see a big future for it. It will grow, and there'll be more areas open that they can work in. But right now, we just do not have areas for the teenagers to work.
It's an important
See,
thing.
I
for
wanted to
them.
do that when I was a teenager. So I could see wanting to be like you ladies one day, you know. I really wanted to do that.
And I know
So-
y'all want to be like her, Dan. Well, right now, we are going to take a break. Thank you for being here today, and
Well,
thank you
thank
for
you very
sharing
much.
what you do, and thank you for doing what you do.
Okay?
We're going to go to the obituaries. Today's obituaries are brought to you by Logan Funeral Home and Chapel, where we listen to what you have to say. We don't have obits today, but if we did, they would be brought to you. Well, you want to lay down on the table? You could be the obits for today. No. They are brought to you by Logan Funeral Home and Chapel, where we listen to what you have to say. You are important. We're going to go back to the community calendar. There is a lot going on this weekend. I can tell you we will be at Friendship Baptist Church tomorrow night raising money for Lynn Ritchie's family. And today is her sweet husband Ray's birthday. Ray Ritchie, ETC employee's birthday is October 31st. That's almost as bad as being born Christmas Eve. And Wendy Ray, this is entered by her dad, Robert Johnson. Her birthday is November the 2nd. Happy 33rd birthday. And to Josh Ray, entered by Pawpaw, Robert Johnson. I love Pawpaws and Mawmaws. That's just, you know they love them. Josh Ray is celebrating his 70, I hope that's spelled right, his 7th birthday. He's 7 years old. Happy birthday, Josh. And Jared Davis, this is entered by his great-grandmother. You're not old enough to be a great-grandmother, Ella Mae Reese. Don't sit there and tell me that stuff. Jared Davis is celebrating his 7th birthday on October 31st, another Halloween baby.
And also Jason Dorsey, that I went to school with, his birthday
His
is
birthday
today.
is Halloween.
So happy birthday, Jason.
Happy birthday. Well, right now we are going to go back to the community calendar. When we come back, you're going to meet a young man who plays a very, very special part in my life. He is involved in the new theme song for Heart of the Home. And you're going to get to meet valedictorian, smart kid, great musician, and best of all, a good Christian guy. Hang on, we'll be right back. Welcome back. Oh, gosh, I do really great fragrances, don't I? I've done some really lousy marriages, but I do great fragrances. Now, I decided I didn't have on enough diamonds today, but I have to say my diamonds are compliments of Georgiana Place in Jasper, Georgia. I didn't have enough diamonds to pull off the Elizabeth Taylor thing. That lady's got some diamonds going on. The things that I am most blessed with, not being diamonds, are great friends. And one of my great friends is joining us, Jeremy Barker. Y'all will recognize him. He is the reason, the absolute reason, the Barkers began, because you started playing the guitar.
Yes, I started at Ducktown School.
It's
You
all
did.
your fault.
It's all
I
your
guess
fault.
so. I guess it's my fault.
You started playing the guitar. Did somebody come to school and start giving lessons?
Yes, they had Gene Prince. He came in and he gave lessons, and then along with one of my regular teachers, he actually helped teach guitar. So, and then I took lessons from there, and I just took it, you know, those 2 years I was in school, I took lessons there, and then I just took it from there and added to it, added my own.
Now let's
technique.
talk about adding it to it. You have added your brother playing the banjo,
Yep.
your mom playing the stand-up bass, your dad playing the mandolin,
Yes.
and y'all have just written, your mom did the words, and who did the music? Were you and Jonathan both involved in that?
We both were, yes.
And what is the name of your new song?
The Heart of the Home.
The Heart of the Home.
Who taught the rest of your family to play?
Well, we just, somebody gave my brother lessons, and then a gentleman in North Carolina gave my dad mandolin lessons. So, and then
And your mom?
she kind of, somebody helped her a little bit with the bass, but she picked up a lot of that on her own because she'd played piano before. She said it's a lot like the left-hand part of the piano. So,
And we have to say, your mom is one smart lady. She is one smart lady. She has written another song called Go Down Moses. It is an amazing song. You're about to go into the studio, and the reason you won't be helping us with the fundraiser tomorrow night is I put you on a deadline that was almost impossible. But in order to do our Thanksgiving special, y'all have to be in the studio all day tomorrow until
Yes.
late tomorrow night to finish the theme song for Heart of the Home. It was very important to me that this year we have that ready for the Thanksgiving special. It took y'all, we've been talking about this song for about 2 years with other writers. Nobody could come up with the theme. Nobody could come up with the thoughts that were important to me. When y'all did this, you had never been to the farm. After you wrote the song, I took them to the farm. You know the screen door on the back porch at the farm? When we pulled up, I said, now do you see why this song is so
it
perfect?
fits perfectly. I mean,
is perfect.
You couldn't put it any better.
No. And we are going to have a video done with y'all at the farm. Now, who is the man who's going to do the video for us from school?
Mr. Tompkins. He's the
Right.
technical person at the school I graduated from, Copper Basin High School. He's
Right.
a technical person there, and he does a lot of videos and that sort of thing, audio, visual, all that. He covers all of that.
Well, and where did I find Mr. Tompkins?
Crestlawn Cemetery.
I did. I
Yep.
picked up another man in a cemetery. You know, I got 7 ex-husbands, most of them dead. But I picked up another man in a cemetery. And
I go there often.
Yes, I know you do. I know you do. But when I picked him up, he was shooting a video. And so after y'all finished the song, and after you saw the farm and saw how perfect it was, I said, we've really got to have a video. So our next project will be to have Mr. Tompkins come, and we're going to do a video of maybe me opening the screen door at the farm and y'all playing out by the barn or whatever. We're going to make this work. But this is technology that started at Copper Basin High School,
Yes.
where you happen to be valedictorian.
Yes, I don't like to brag too much.
I know you don't, but I love it. You are smart. You are an amazingly good kid. And in today's world, a lot of kids don't get the credit they deserve. You know, a lot of good kids, a few bad kids that kind of throw things off, but a lot of good kids. And you and your brother both being one of them.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
And your mom and dad may have a little something to do with that.
Yes, a
They're
lot.
pretty tight.
A lot,
They're
yes.
pretty tight. They keep the reins pulled in, and it must pay off.
It
must
does.
pay off.
And you know, a lot of times I kind of get aggravated because they do, but it's worth it. I'm thankful that they do.
And what about Wesley? Let's talk about Wesley.
He's a good friend of mine and my brother's. So, and I graduated. He goes to the same school that I graduated from. So,
And how did he learn to play the fiddle?
he also learned at school.
And see, I used to think Nick has a fiddle, but he can't play it. He can play the guitar, the mandolin. He could not learn the fiddle. I always thought that's the hard job. Which of those instruments do you think is the hardest to play?
Out of probably the fiddle, because it's I mean, it's a difficult instrument. You know, I've heard that it takes up to 7 years to actually master it, because it is a difficult instrument.
And you took some lessons from somebody who lives near me, didn't you?
Yes.
Al Smith.
Yes.
And Al played with people like Alison Krauss. So you have learned from the best. And who did I get to go meet a couple of weeks ago that you really wanted to be with?
The Isaacs.
The Isaacs.
They're an awesome group, and I like listening to them. You know, and they are what they're real. You can tell they're real.
They are, absolutely. And this is a Jewish mom from New York whose family were Holocaust survivors, who came here and became a Christian and raised her children as Christian. It's an amazing life story. And when I met her, not many people throw me. I mean, I could walk up to, you know, the president and talk to him. I don't care. But when I met Lily Isaacs, it was almost like it was bigger than life.
Well, because you'd been wanting to meet her.
For 10 years. For 10 years. I had really been looking forward to that. And I thought, man, this is awesome. And then when she stepped on stage, and she, as a Jewish mom from Poland, stepped on stage and her daughters opened with the Star Spangled Banner. Cold chills. Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. It was amazing. It was absolutely amazing. Now, where do you see your talent going? I know you're in college. You left home. Now, this was tough. There was a big crying session, and you didn't know how bad it was, but we're going to say it was a little bit tense. You only went about 40-something miles away.
Yeah, it's 40 miles away to Cleveland, Tennessee. I'm going to Cleveland State Community College. So.
And you have a little tiny apartment. And you are cooking, and I'm going to teach you some quick and easy recipes this weekend.
Thank you, because I use the microwave a lot, and that can get old after a while.
It's really not good for you either.
No, it's not healthy.
But I'm going to teach you a few quick and easy recipes. I'm going to teach you grab it and go. I'm going to teach you baby pizzas and Busy Mom's pizza, which is good for you because it has veggies on it and the Rotel tomato, so there's not a lot of fat in it. So that's a good one. I'm going to choose
I'm kind of
3.
guilty of not eating a lot of healthy stuff. I will say that. So. Yeah.
Now, when you come home Thursday nights?
Yes.
And your family still plays music on the
weekends?
Yes,
I make time for music, so it fits in real well with everything. It's just, I've been really blessed to, you know, keep doing the music and all that, even while I'm in college. So.
Now, you're going to major in education?
Yes. I plan on being a history teacher.
Okay.
So, and I'd like to minor in music. Obviously, 'cause I like music.
Oh, so. Yeah. Oh, yeah. And we have to say, this young man learned a song for me, Take Me Home Country Roads. And it will be on your new CD.
Yes.
You're going to do the Heart of the Home tomorrow, and then you're going to stay and maybe cut 3 songs?
Yes, 3 or 4 songs.
Okay. And what songs, I know you love music like I like, you love the Eagles. You chose a song from the Eagles you're going to be doing.
Peaceful, Easy Feeling.
Right.
I love that song.
Isn't that one of your probably most requested?
It is, because, you know, we played a lot of that generation that was familiar with the Eagles, so they request that song a lot. Yeah.
Now, when it comes down to who makes the decisions, I know your dad well enough to know. Does he let you guys say, Dad, I think this is a good song for us to learn?
Yes, yes. But he, you know, it's kind of, they approve it before we do it, because we want to make sure it's something that fits in really well with. Because you don't want to get too far away from bluegrass, because you have people that are more traditional, and then you have the other crowd that are a little bit more, they like that on the edge of sort of rock and roll, kind of like the Eagles. So we try to tie in both the traditional and the more modern types together in our music.
Well, I'm so excited about this new theme song, because truly we used the opening music we've used for 2 years. The director from Atlanta chose this music, and it has been fine, but I don't want people to flip out when on Wednesday nights they turn on ETC at 8:30 and Heart of the Home starts without that music. It's going to be totally different. Your brother's going to lead in with the banjo.
Yes.
And did he have a lot to do with how the music was going to work on this?
Yes, because the banjo is sort of, it's one of the lead instruments in bluegrass. You know, the guitar is more just the rhythm. You know, and there is some lead on the guitar, but mostly it does just back up and that sort of thing. It's to accompany. The banjo is one of the lead instruments, and so that kind of, he helps lead the songs and all that. Do
we see young brother Jonathan going into competition at some point?
I don't know.
He's very good. He's very good. And he just learned by those few lessons at school, and then he kind of picked it up?
He didn't take lessons at school. He was too young at the time, so he took them from a man, well, he's passed away, but Mr. Charles Little, he lived in Ducktown, and he took lessons from him. So
Now, what if your mom and dad had not been musical? Do you see you and your brother doing a career without them?
we could, but it probably wouldn't be as far as it was because they've contributed so much to it.
Right, right. And talk about the miles you travel.
Oh man, I've seen so much.
2 weeks ago, y'all did 3 or 4 gigs in one day.
Oh man.
And I've
Yes.
seen you do it. I mean, I have been there, done that. I've filmed y'all. I've seen the courthouse in Blairsville be standing room only and all generations. And I think that's the thing I love about y'all. You reach all generations, you know, whether it be the young kids who are
Yes.
just clapping or the old people who are sitting there remembering these great songs. Y'all really do cover an area that needs to be touched by everybody.
Yes.
And you incorporate gospel music.
Yes, always.
Very important. Very
It's one
important.
of the most important.
Now, how long do you think it took Mama to write Go Down Moses?
I think once she got it into her head, it didn't take her that long at all. I mean, maybe a few days, because once a song, it kind of just clicks with you, and you write it. You know, it clicks. That's the only way I know how to put it. You'll be driving down the road, and it'll just you'll start thinking of stuff, and you'll think, hey, that would make a good song, and it just clicks.
Well, when y'all told me that you had Heart of the Home ready, the first time I heard it, I thought, that's really good. And the next time I heard it, I thought, that is really good. And the next time, I'm like, that is dead on perfect. Because I went back to the farm, and I was sitting there, and I was looking around the farm, and I thought, everything you said, we have the rockers on the porch. We have the screen door, which I have to tell y'all is about 9 inches shorter than most screen doors because Granny Harris was a little tiny thing. And they saw no point in wasting a big old door. Everybody they knew was short. So the song is absolutely dead on. And when you finished it, were you worried about playing it for me?
Yes, because I didn't know, what will she think of it, And I thought, well, how will it fit in with the show? Will it fit in good? But it, after seeing the farm, it'll fit in good.
It's perfect.
Yeah.
So did your mom write the lyrics and then the family puts the music
Yes,
to it?
she wrote the words to it, and we did the music.
And did she does she put something in her head like and then she says, this is kind of how I want it to go? Or did you and your dad and your brother just sit down and start picking?
Well, she showed us the words, and she said, see if you could come up with some music to go along with it. And so we fooled around, and we finally came up with a good, backup for it, music for it.
And now it's going to be recorded, and it will be the new theme song. It will be opening and closing the show every week. And do you think y'all will maybe put that on the new CD?
Oh, yes.
Okay,
Yes.
good. It's not a long song, but it's really, and if you've ever been to Grandma's farm, you will relate to this song. You will relate to this song. You'll also be hunting the banana pudding when you go in the door, because it really sounds like you're coming home. And I think that's the thing I loved about it so much. It sounds like you've pulled up and you see Granny coming out the screen door, and you're just so happy to be there, and friends and family gathering.
That's what it's all about. It's supposed to take you back in time to where you can actually be there. It's almost like you want to be there in the middle of it. The song should take you in there in the middle of it. So
Well, wait till y'all come in and sit down at the kitchen table, which is where I want to shoot some footage of y'all for the video. The kitchen table has been there since 1860.
wow.
Since 1860. And when you think about it, the day President Lincoln was shot, the family was sitting at that table having food.
That's a piece of history.
It is. It absolutely is. And I said, that's
And
why.
talking about short, they cut the legs off so the table was
Yeah,
shorter
and-
because the family was short.
And I gotta tell you this, when you sit down, if you're over 5'5",
Your knees hit.
Your knees hit the table.
Yeah.
Because they adjusted everything in the house. They were all short. And I've had builders in there working on the house, and they kind of duck, and they say, why are these door jambs all so short? Well, the Harrises were short. Like me, dumpy. They
We're
weren't
tall,
dumpy.
challenged.
Yeah, tall challenge. That's exactly what you call us. Now, college is 2 years there, and then you're going to transfer to where?
ETSU up in Johnson City. And I wanted to go to Cleveland State the first year because I didn't want to go away from home. I was afraid, I might not do too well up there being away from 3.5 hours away from home. So I like where I'm at right now really well, but I will transfer to ETSU. This is sort of like a stepping stone, I guess you could call it, because I'm not going straight up there. It's sort of like an in-between, getting me ready for,
But I've already seen you're getting tons of homework.
Oh yeah, they pile it on you in college, and
Yeah.
you have to be really wise with your time.
Your deadlines are faster. There's no waiting. I
No.
know. I have one there, and it's just boom, boom, boom. Do
You
it,
have
do
to
it,
get
do
it done, and you're constantly always doing some kind of assignment. But
Now, was there anything about leaving home, even though you only went 40 miles away, you are now in your own apartment, you're responsible for the things that happen for you,
Yes.
you're responsible for your meals, you don't do your own laundry. I know
no,
that.
no, that's
He brings
I have to
that laundry
confess.
home and Mama
I have to
irons in blue
confess.
jeans.
She's seen the laundry, man. I bring the laundry home, and my mom does the laundry.
Yeah,
so.
yeah, yeah. Is there anything that overwhelmed you when you got to college?
Well, you're responsible. I guess that's the big thing. And you know, like in high school, all the teachers were always on you and do your work. They're the professors. If you don't do it, it's your own fault. I mean, you know, they don't care.
And you're paying so much money
Yes.
that you're more disciplined with yourself, because if you mess up, that's a lot of money
That's
wasted.
exactly.
You know, you've got to wake up when you go to college, and
You have
it
to
is on
management.
you.
You learn a lot about
Right.
management. You do.
Now, you did get a lot of scholarship help.
Oh, yes.
Because you were a smart kid. Now, how can other kids look at planning their future by getting some scholarship money? Did you start in 7th grade to say, I'm going to be in college and I need some help?
Well, I knew that in order to do that, I had to keep my grades up. You know, that would be my best chances of getting a scholarship, be to keep my grades up. And that's the biggest piece of advice I know to do is keep your grades up, stay in school, and, you know, don't quit, don't give up. You know, and of course, there'll be times when you won't have the best grades in the world, but you'll have to just keep going.
Well, I love Tori's attitude. She has always been pressured. And the other day we were talking, and I said, how are your grades? And she said, well, I got a B, but I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. You know, she used to panic over it. And she said, Nanny, you know, I'm transferring in January. I'm really cool with everything that's going on. She's always been A, 4.0, you know, and then all of a sudden she got this B. And she's like, I'm thinking, oh, Lordy me, the kid's going to flip out. And she said, Nanny, I'm okay with it. I'm okay.
She told me this week, she said, that B is going to be an A before it's over.
I knew it. I knew it.
And, you know, that's the thing. Talk about a good kid. I've never, ever had to fuss at her about homework. She pushed herself more than I could have ever pushed her. You know, never study. If she needed tutoring, she arranged it for herself because she knows her mama cannot do algebra. And she was just very, very
Actually,
good.
her mother was tutored in algebra, and that didn't help either. So.
Well, I'm not
sorry.
good at math. That's my weakness. Is math.
It? Now, why did you choose history?
I'm just interested. It fascinates me because, you know, and I thought about local history at first, and then I just got into world history. I took a humanities class, and that's really what got me into history. So.
And the history of where you live, the history of where I live is an Indian history, and it
Yes.
is a local history. What is the history of the area you grew up in,
Well, as you know, it was a mining town at one time.
right?
And, you know, there wasn't any vegetation. They killed it, you know, but that's the only way you could make a living at the time. You worked in the company, so, or in the mines.
What about during the Civil War? I've talked to folks from your community who had sons who fought in both sides of the war.
Yeah, it was split. You know, there were people for the Union and people for the Confederacy. So
Isn't that amazing?
it is.
Well, is that something you'll study even though you're going the world history route?
Well,
Are
I'll
you
be
still
taking
interested?
American history next
Okay.
semester, so yeah, I will be studying that.
And in American history, do they include the Indians?
Yes, they've got better about that because I think that is one of the biggest parts of
That
history.
is America. Yeah.
And you know, used to they just leave it out of the history books and they're like, well, but now they're getting to where they incorporate it a lot more.
It's almost like there was a certain amount of shame at what we did to them, so they swept it under the rug. But that's where it started. You know, they were here first.
Exactly.
And I think they need full credit of what they did.
Obviously.
You know?
And they were caretakers of the land.
They
and
were.
that's
They were tillers
something-
of the land.
Yeah. One of the most positive people I've ever met in my life, Mr. Davenport, is a caretaker of his land because his mom with Indian heritage taught him to recycle everything that everything you grow on the land, you put back into the land.
And they never wasted anything. I mean,
Never.
they didn't.
Never, never. Now talk about waste. Your daddy got us some potatoes last night that y'all grew
Yes.
and dug and put in the cellar. Is that something that you will pass on as you become a college-educated history teacher? Will you go back to the roots your family's always had?
Absolutely. Because that's, you know, if you lose that, then it's gone. So if you don't carry it on, there's no way to preserve that.
I think that's what I loved about Mr. Davenport. He truly treasures his heritage. He truly treasures that heritage. And when he was sharing that with me, I thought, you know, he's in his late 70s, and it's important to him to maintain what his mom and his grandma taught him. And I thought that's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. Well, now this weekend, you're going to be playing anywhere this weekend?
Well, we'll be recording
Tomorrow night.
Yes.
You're not playing Sunday. You'll be with me Sunday afternoon.
Yes.
And we will have the final track in-house on Monday. I'm so excited about that.
Where are you recording it at?
At Maryville, Tennessee. There's a studio up there that we record at.
And it's going to be an all-day affair.
Yeah.
You don't think about taking all day to do just a few songs.
No, but it
is
does. You know,
amazing.
when we first started recording, I thought, well, this won't take long. The first time we ever recorded, I thought, this is a big, after we got, when we started doing it, you know, this is a big event. So it's bigger than I thought it was.
It is. Well, the Heart of the Home theme song is, it is great. I love it. Thank you so much for doing
Oh,
that.
you're welcome.
And
We
it
enjoyed
is
doing it.
absolutely perfect. It is perfect for the show. Your mom and you and your brothers and your dad did a great job with it. Right now we're going to take a break and we're going to go back to Miss Hannah Baker Towns or something or
Hannah
other
was
over
just
there.
over there primping her hair.
Was she? Well, I hope
Yes.
she'll put on some gloss, and she really needs to shave her legs. What's going on over there?
No? Hi, I'm Hannah Towns. Thank you, Cherie. I'm here continuing with your week review. We turn now to this week's health report with Stephen Miracle for some safety tips for tonight's trick-or-treaters.
Hi there. As you know, Friday is Halloween. It's one of the most interesting and fun events that happens every year. But it also can be a dangerous event for children if you're not careful. Let's talk about a couple of things that you need to pay attention to as a parent of young children on Halloween. One of the things that you need to be aware of course, is how your child dresses. It's important for them to wear loose-fitting clothes so that they don't trip when they're out hunting for candy. The other thing you may consider is to get a costume that is light or that has reflective material on it. Many times, particularly in some of the rural areas, it's people are hurrying home and may not see trick-or-treaters out. And so if you have reflective clothing, that could be very helpful. The last thing to consider in the costume of your child is to make sure that it's something fun. Fun could be all over the map. It could be a ghost or a witch or a goblin or even a princess. Be sure to find something fun for your child. I know children get really excited when they're going door to door, but please try to have your child slow down and not run. And when you're going up to a house, avoid houses that don't have lights on. That can be dangerous. And when your child gets up to the door, please instruct them under no circumstances should they go inside the house to retrieve their candy. And after your child gets their candy, ask them really hard not to eat it until they get home and you have a chance to look at it. One good thing that my mother did when I was growing up, and before we went trick-or-treating, she would always feed me a light snack or a meal so that I wasn't hungry and be extra tempted to eat the candy that we got. When you bring the candy home, I advise a couple of things. One, throw out any candy that's unwrapped or that appears to be homemade. Two, if there's any fruits, apples or oranges or anything like that, throw those out because they're too easy to become contaminated. And lastly, on hard candy, make sure it's something that is not too small or too large for the child to eat. And those are the tips that I have for you so that you can have a fun and safe Halloween this year. If you're like our family, you're absolutely looking forward to the smiling faces of the children as they come up and knock on the door to receive the treat. In order to have a safe Halloween this year, please remember to do the things that we talked about today. With your Neighborhood Health Report, I'm Stephen Miracle for North Georgia Now Today.
Thank you, Stephen. Those are certainly good tips to keep trick-or-treaters safe this Halloween. But if you're looking for something more than just trick-or-treating on this Halloween, you might want to check out the Lionsgate Mortuary. They are handing out scares instead this year. Here is one of their spooky characters with some more information.
It's a most unusual experience. We're an old funeral home that's been in business for generations and generations. Unfortunately, the local health department has tried to shut us down. So we've decided to open up to the public and give a behind-the-scenes tour to all prospective victims can see what we're doing here at Lionsgate Mortuary.
If you're looking for something spooky to do this weekend to celebrate Halloween, the Lionsgate Mortuary is located just down the road.
Well, it's located in Jasper, Georgia, close to the DFAC's office and the Woodbridge Inn. Just come toward the Woodbridge and follow the signs for the haunted house.
If you're visiting this creepy place, the cost is $7 for adults and $5 for children. The money raised at Lionsgate will go to help residents in Pickens County.
Sure, all the proceeds from Lionsgate Mortuary benefit the Jasper Lions Club and its many projects. Each year, the Jasper Lions Club provides vision services and eyeglasses and surgeries to hundreds of Pickens Countyans, as well as our Fill a Stocking program, which will give Christmas to over 700 Pickens County children this year.
The Lionsgate Mortuary is open this Friday, October 31st, Halloween night, and this Saturday, November 1st.
It's a chilling experience, and we're so thrilled to share it with each and every one of our victims that would like to come and be a part of our behind-the-scenes experience at a funeral home.
Now that's all for me, but I am Hannah Baker and Chad Crow wishing y'all a happy Halloween. Back to you, Cherie.
Oh, it takes a heck of a man to do that. Kind of like one of the men I might have been married to.
You gotta just
You
love
know?
it. You know that he just stepped up and did it, and
He
I
did.
am so
He
proud
did.
of him. He did an awesome job.
Now,
I love it.
Now, my old name would be Elizabeth Taylor,
Blah, blah,
Todd,
blah, 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 blah.
Wilding, Fisher, Burton, Warner, Brzezinski. Is that my name? Yeah, I guess that's about right. But
Taylor.
we're joining by a couple of guests who have the simplest names. They're coming to us from McKaysville, Fannin County area, Blairsville. Tell me what's important to y'all, and why are you here sitting next to the Guru Girl?
Well, thank you for having us. We have been working with different children's homes in Brazil, and we attend Union Baptist Church, which is just over the line in
And I want to show a
Fannin
picture of
County.
some of the children you've been helping. And these range in, looks like from about, what, 4 to 5 years old?
4 to 5, and they can stay in that home until they're 18.
Okay.
In the country of Brazil, there's 7 million street children, which basically means that they have either left home. There's only 18, excuse me, only 18% of them actually truly orphans. So they have left home because of violent situations or tough situations, and just live out on the street. So they have really been through a lot of different challenges. And we went to this particular girls' home 5 years ago with our church, and on a mission trip. That particular home was just being built, a new facility. They were housed in a pastor's facility or pastor's home. There was 22 people living in this house, and it was 3 bedrooms. Very, very small facilities. And we have been able to work with them to build a project, and it's truly that. It's on a couple of acres of land. They have different dormitories, an administration building, a cafeteria, and it's some open area where they can play and be safe. They actually have a full-size basketball court, so they can exercise without being worried about being in the street and amongst the crime and the violence that is there. The children there are just like children anywhere else, and just crave love and nurturing. And the reason that we started our ministry is after we helped to build that home, all of the construction teams, different people that we'd worked with from all over the United States, basically moved on to the next building project, and we felt our calling, and God had gave us a vision to go back to that home. And when we got there, we realized that they did not have enough food in the cupboards to feed these children and to care for them and to continue that work. So we have actually formed our own ministry. It's called Building Christian Ministries, to not only build children's homes, but also to help administrate them, oversee them, and not just in Brazil, but all over the world. We have also, I've been a foster parent. Ethan and his wife have been foster parents in Union and Fannin County, and we've seen the needs here and just really questioned why would God send us to Brazil? And we work 345 days of the year here in our own neighborhood, in our own communities, just really showing God's love to people around us. But He has gave us a vision to plant that seed in another country and to work with the Brazilian people so that they will have that same outlook and the same care for children as we do here. Children there are a commodity. They honestly are not treated the way an American child is treated. Not valued at all for a human life. And just to plant those seeds in that country and just move on as God leads us.
I know one of the things I've heard a lot of really, really bad things about the pornography in that country.
Yes, very
and that
open.
is something a young girl doesn't have a choice.
No.
You know? And that's...
Most of the girls that come into this home, if they're over the age 10, they've been on the street being prostituted out. And so there's
Now think
a
about
lot
that.
of challenges.
You're talking about a 10-year-old child. 10 years old, a 10-year-old little girl. And
Yes.
they're just little girls.
They are.
That is...
Why do they not value children as a human life? You know, that's special.
Well, to them it's a commodity.
I mean, they're people too. They're just small people.
Exactly. Well, they look at it as what can I get out of this world? And to them it's, I have a child, let that child work for me. And they'll put them on the street to sell candies. It's not uncommon to pull up to a signal light and there's children all around doing tricks or trying to sell you candy, begging on the street. When you park your car, they'll say, well, I'll watch your car if you'll pay me, you know, give me a little money and just a quarter, 50 cents, something so minute, and that's what they do all day long, just to get a little bit of money. And if they go home without that, then they're severely punished. So a lot of them just stay on the streets. And this home is just one home of many that that we feel led to actually be a part of and help implement, to work with the Brazilian people. We have great Christian people that are overseeing this home all year round. We're very particular about the people that we hire to work in this home, and just to show them that there is another way of life, that there is hope. The name of our project in Brazil is Project Hope. Just a place for them to have new hope.
Can you imagine that? I mean, we all take everything we have for granted, and we've laughed about it today. I mean, diamonds, pearls, the whole thing. Everybody has this wonderful lifestyle, and we all have all this stuff we don't need. And when it comes down to the reality of it, what you really, really need is just somebody to care for you.
That's it.
Yeah.
With things being so bad, would you see maybe the government stepping in to possibly prevent unwanted pregnancies for these children? They're like stray animals. Basically, you know how China has the, I'm not sure exactly, but you know, one child per family just because of the population. Then, you know, do you see something like that ever happening?
Well, the Brazilian government's very, they went from one extreme to the other. They understand that the children are treated as commodities, so they put laws into place that basically states that a child can make a choice to live on the street and sell drugs if they want to. And you as a parent can't even do anything about that.
You're kidding.
No. So it's very hard to put those values in there when parents really want good things for their children. We've had them come to our gate and say, can you please take my child? Can you please take this child? When we just took over this home and was cleaning up and fixing to open the doors just this year on August the 14th, and this pregnant lady came to our gate and just sat down and cried. And I asked one of the ladies, I said, what's the story? And she said, well, she has 2 children that's just living out in the countryside with friends, family, or on the streets. And she would love for them to come here because they can't provide for them. You have a low class and a high class. There's no middle class in Brazil, which has been one of their great struggles. So the government, in order to try and protect the children, they've actually went to the other extreme and allowed them to make their own free choices, so they're not taught anything. They can choose to be on the streets, so they may choose that, but then, of course, most of them meet a violent death. The ratios are incredible on what happens to them while they're on the street. So this hope that we're trying to plant in them is not just the hope of, okay, let me survive till I'm 18, but, teach them a skill. Give them the ability to stand on their own.
Okay, now tell me how you became involved in it. We're going to have to give you a handheld mic. There you go.
Okay. You know, we were foster parents in Fannin County for a little over 4 years, and in that 4-year period of time, we had 88 kids come in and out of our home. And so as a foster parent, ministering to the spiritual needs and the physical needs of those children, those seeds were planted to minister to those kids. And, and so by having Building Christian Ministries come to our church and sharing all the wonderful things that they were doing and getting to do in Brazil, that opened up the door for the Lord to call me and my wife into full-time missions. And so we have dedicated our life to move to Brazil, and currently are on schedule to be down there by January, February of this year. We're currently raising support, and we have traveled around to different churches in Fannin County. We've been to Kingtown Baptist Church. We've been to Helping Hands Church and New River. All these churches, just trying to spread the word of what we're doing. We're hoping to do in Brazil. The interesting thing about what we found out in Brazil is the home was currently being ran by a church, in a local church in Brazil, but the spiritual needs of those children were not being met. And so the Lord has called me to be a preacher, and so my calling is child evangelism. We want to spread the gospel of Jesus Christ to those children, and also we want to disciple those kids. Nobody from the local churches was coming on a regular basis to minister to those kids' needs, their spiritual needs. And so that will be our main function in Brazil. Is to help the girls in Project Hope and also other homes that are in the area.
Now, you're actually from McKaysville?
Yes, I actually been in McKaysville. Started out as a young boy in Blue Ridge, but moved to McKaysville. I actually have, lived right down the road from Eric Chastain in McKaysville on Hillcrest Drive.
Are you going to be at Friendship tomorrow night for the fundraiser for Lynn Ritchie?
We probably will be, because actually that's some of my wife's kinfolks. So
Right,
it's her,
right. Well, I think it's important that we all get together tomorrow night, and I know that y'all you have to have funding. You have to have support. You have to have prayers. Number
Yes.
one, this is not going to happen if you don't get everything in place, starting from prayer to funding. Now tell me about the baskets that you brought.
Well, these are just some examples of different skills that we're teaching the children in the home. We actually have some Singer sewing machines so they can sew and do different crafts. They do hand stitchery with some towels, and this helps them to have their own personal money. So it teaches them the ability to of course, make things and be able to sell those. So as we take a mission team down, and we normally take 1 or 2 teams a year, down to the home, these girls will spread all their things out on the table, and some of the mission team members can go through and purchase each of those. They can do little craft pots and make pretty little girls on there, just to be able to sell that. We teach them how to do jewelry. You have a lot of open street vending in Brazil, so if you're able to teach them a craft that they can become very good at, then they have the ability to make their own money. So when they're 18, they can continue to go to school and sell their crafts and have a much better life than what they have
And that
here.
basket,
The basket, yes, it's very unusual. What it is old newspaper. So they go through the streets just to
I can
to
almost
clean it
see
all
that
up.
now.
Yes,
now
you
that
can. You can read the different writing in there. If you can, of course, read Portuguese. And they take the trash off of the streets and take that and weave it and then coat it just like a shellac. So once they have woven it together, which is incredible that they're able to do that, and they shellac it, form it into different size baskets. And of course they can stain it to a darker stain, and you don't even see the writing.
And I can only imagine the pride they have in these items.
Oh yes, incredible. So we always go through the table and make sure that each child has something that's been purchased, and really they love to give us things, but we try to purchase their necklaces and things of that nature and wear that for them, just to show that we're proud of them and just encourage them as a human being and to treat others that same way. which is very important.
Can
Well,
they
right
speak
now,
English?
we're going to have a trivia question. We're going to ask something about something you both have in common, and you talked about it. You live in a county north of here, and you both told us that. Call me at 866-939-2329. We serve several counties. Tell me where these two guests live, and you will win a copy of In the Garden. Now, that is something that Donovan did for months and months and months. It's been blessing y'all, and I'm going to tell you, the new one is getting very, very close. But call us at 866-939-2329. We talked about, we both asked you the same question. Why did you choose to go to a foreign country when you live in our viewing area? And you told us there's such a need, and you do both minister through other things. You have been foster parents.
Yes, I still am.
You have both adopted children.
Yes.
Now, how important was that to you? Would you do it again?
I would love to do it again. There was a time in my life where actually I got to a point where I didn't want any children, but the Lord really just through ministering to the spiritual needs of these kids, by touching the lives of a child, even if it's just for a day or two. You know, when we had children come in our home, just that slight opportunity to touch their lives for Jesus Christ and to show them Christ's love, and to show them that people love them and do care for them. We still have foster kids that we meet today that come up to us, and they show us how much they really appreciate just that one opportunity that we had to make a difference in their life. And it's so worthwhile. But it just, I get emotional thinking about it, because you know, I realize that I've been bought with a price. That what Jesus done for me, and I want to share that love with these kids. And
How many kids have never heard of that man on the cross? How many kids do you reach and do you meet through your foster care who don't know about that man who died on that cross?
You'd be amazed. You know, we have several kids throughout the years that came in our home that had never been to church, didn't know how church services ran, and just an opportunity to walk, to take them to church and them hear the gospel of Jesus Christ and what He done for us so long ago, and it's amazing to see, and it makes a difference in their life. We've had opportunities to lead foster kids to the knowledge of Jesus Christ, and no doubt we've sowed many seeds that I feel that will, you know, the children is the future church. They're going to speak for us long after we're dead and gone. Long after we're dead and gone, they'll be continuing on the teachings of Jesus Christ, and a legacy that, you know, we hope to leave with Building Christian Ministries in Brazil.
Now, you adopted 2 children?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
When you travel to Brazil, do your children go with you?
They have not yet. They're 3 and 6.
Okay.
So we have had them for 3 years now.
Do they
And-
understand Mommy's leaving?
Oh, yes. Well, the baby, of course, had struggles, but for the last 2 years since we have adopted them, my husband and I split. So I go to Brazil without him, and he stays at home to keep that security. We went one time without them, and they done just fine. I think we done worse than they did. And they, you know, but we did not want them to go through the feeling of abandonment again and all of those struggles. So this year we're actually looking at taking them with us for the first time, because the girls in the home, oh, they so want me to bring them down there. And of course, our 6-year-old, she's like, please, please, can I go? So she's very excited and hopes to get to go this year as well.
Now, how can people reach y'all? If they have questions, if they want to help, if they just want some more information, how can they reach y'all?
Well, our website is www.bcm4god, F-O-R, or the number 4god.com. That is our website. My phone number is 706-781-5027. So they're welcome to call me on that at any time. But we are just really excited about having the opportunity to be able to speak in other areas. I would love to be able to speak more with people in Pickens and in Gilmer County. And I know we spoke a lot around McCaysville and Fannin County, but we haven't really in Copper Basin either. So a lot of different opportunities there to just come together with our brothers and sisters in Christ and just make an impact, not just here in our community, but on the world. You know, that country really is what you see on the news about Rio de Janeiro and you know, all about the beach and all of those types of things. We can make an impact on that as a Christian society to really change that, and that's one child at a time, one child at a time. And each of those children are just incredible. You know, I feel like I have children there and children here. I cry leaving and I cry coming home.
Wow. What a great message. Right now, we're going to give you a message. If you can tell me what is happening tomorrow night in McKaysville area, I will be involved in it. I will be cooking something for this event. If you can call me at 866-939-2329, you're going to also win a copy of In the Garden. Do y'all like me as the hussy, Elizabeth? I don't know about this. I put on so much
I thought Liz
makeup.
had things cooked.
Liz does have things cooked, and Liz probably has a caterer, a whatever. I'd say Liz is more high maintenance than I am. And you know, somebody laughed last night when I made a statement that I'm low maintenance. He lay on the floor and kicked and screamed and said, "You are what?" And I said,
funny.
"I'm low maintenance." This has been a fun day. I would never have come out in public with this much makeup on if it were not Halloween. I kind of feel like a hussy. But
I
it's been
feel so
fun.
natural.
You do. You look really natural. I think they're going to try to get a close-up
This
of
is
you
the-
because your eyes are a little spooky.
This is the only day of the year I get to be myself.
That's right. Well, you have been yourself
I'm so
all
grateful.
day long.
I have a
and
birthday.
You have a birthday. Let's get to it real quick because we've got a draw.
Brian Inslee, 26 years old, on November 1st.
Okay, let me fold this up and you reach down and get the bucket and let's draw. And I
Where's
don't
the
have
bucket?
it's right at your feet. It's right at your footsteps. There you go. I don't have the cake this week. I'm not sure who did the cake for us, but we will get that information and pass it to them. Now we're going to let one of our guests draw. The bucket is full. Wow, just stir them up a little bit and draw us out a winner for the birthday cake. And the contest winner is Patricia Thomas. And she knew that I will be at, and the cake is from the Food Lion this week, Food Lion number 1437 in Blue Ridge, Georgia, where y'all happen to be close to because you're in Fannin County.
Jerry Wilkie.
Jerry Wilkie. Happy birthday to Jerry Wilkie. And a surprise party was held for him on 10/28. Happy birthday to Jerry Wilkie, and you will get a cake from the Food Lion. I'm heading to McKaysville this afternoon. We're going to do trick-or-treating downtown at Trevor's too. It's going to be a lot of fun. Thank you both for being here today. You will be at Lionsgate Mortuary doing your thing to raise money for Empty Stocking Fund. Please tune in to us every day, Monday through Friday, 8:30 to 10:30 a.m., 6 to 8 p.m. Remember, daylight savings time tomorrow night. Spring forward, fall backwards. Don't forget, you'll be late or early to see us. You'll be early. That's right. Remember, ETC3 tonight, Friday night. It's ball game night. It's homecoming in Copper Basin. That means we will be on channel 55 at 7 p.m. Don't get confused, guys. I'm beginning to learn the schedule. So tune in to us tonight. And as always, Monday through Friday, we will be here. You be here too. I'm an old Elizabeth Taylor, and you are?
I am a beautiful corpse bride and look and search for a dead husband.
Well, I've outlived several, so here we go. From North Georgia Now Today, we'll see you again soon.